HLS Healthcare, and today I'm joined by Liz Ellis. Liz has been part of the HLS community for around 6 years now. She started out with the Vendlet positioning system trial in 2018 and received her own in 2019. So we'd love to get to know Liz a little bit better, get to know her story, what makes her tick, what makes her the fantastic woman that she is today. So Liz, can you please share a bit about your background and what makes you who you are today?
Hi, I'm Liz. I trained in social work at uni. I then, when I left home, I moved into support and accommodation through group home. It wasn't the right setting for me. I've worked on an apartment setting where I've been for the last 5.5 years and love it. Love what I'm doing now. I love the footy. I love
team.
Bombers. I'm a bomber. We dropped down from being in the top 8 completely, but, you know.
I'm not into AFL myself, so I'm not up with the ladder, but what a shame for you.
Yes, absolutely. I'll just look forward to the tennis or something. But I've been watching a lot of the Olympics and Paralympics, and I like concerts and live music. And
it's been a good season, hasn't it, for sport at the moment?
It has.
What are some of the challenges that you face in your life, and how do you overcome those?
You use a lot of good humour. Look, to be honest, there's many challenges these days. It's just a very big challenge of high physical support is that you're dependent on other people to do it. So the way that the sector functions these days, finding people that are the right fit for you and have the skill set and the right other qualities to bring to your team is quite a difficult balance. And then it impacts on how you can function in your day.
You find challenge in finding the right support team?
Yes, support team.
That I guess would give you a sense of safety, trust,
yes,
but also that you would get along with from a personal
absolutely.
That's
which we'll bring to each other is what also makes it tick and makes it work so well.
Having that humour that you mentioned before, being able to have a laugh.
Yeah, because it can get, just managing it all gets really overwhelming and stressful and distressing and depressing sometimes. So it's about knowing how to do it and having your own strategies that make you click over and go, okay, you can sit in that moment, but you've got to also get out of that moment. And but also having the other equipment around that makes you be able to function as easy as possible for you.
Definitely.
Makes this world a lot less stressful with the way that, OHS is these days, and the way that, my body is quite stiff and tight, so the more I do something, the more stiff and tight it's going to get. So it's easier if the equipment all works in your favour.
Absolutely. Do you have a favourite artist that you've seen that you've been able to experience?
Many. The Cause came again recently and I hadn't seen them since high school. So
very nostalgic.
Yes, and then it took me 3 years to get into Keith Urban, so I've seen him 3 times.
Amazing.
So he might need a break for a little while. I saw...
What, he needs a break from you?
Yes, apparently. He's not married in my eyes, it's fine.
That's it.
People ask him to marry them and he goes, oh yeah, that might be a bit of a problem. That's what he says to the crowd. It's quite funny because he's taken. I love surfing and it's a summer thing. Yes. So I call it surfing, but it's a disabled surfing Australia. And so I do that in Melbourne in the summer, but they have it in every state. So over the last year or so, I've travelled to a few of the states. I've still got a couple more to go to see other parts, but also to do the actual surfing events.
That's incredible.
It's been very cool. So I've loved being able to have that and bitching back for travelling, because when I was in accommodation, I was like, is it ever going to happen again? And now I'm just like, it can happen. You just got to work at it.
Absolutely. Finding, like you said before, the support structures in place that can allow you to continue to do things that you genuinely love to do. If you don't mind sharing as well, Liz, what does a typical day look like for you? Do you have a routine that you follow? You obviously told me this morning that you had a bit of a speed bump getting here. What does your routine normally look like if you're not facing those speed bumps?
The routine these days is a little bit weird. No, it's the usual. I have a stretching thing that I do, and then I get up and I eat some brekkie, have a shower, and then, do all the usual getting dressed stuff, and then might hit the laptop, might have a bunch of meetings that might be late, but it depends.
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly. I make it a fashionably late entrance. It does vary. And it's all about the change with the move, because things have to be reset up because I'm relocating. But I knew that, but I was like, all of a sudden I thought, I need to call them. There's no way I can do that on my own.
Of course.
So
again, just another reason why it's so important to have that real person connection for us, because it's great that you've been obviously in HLS's community for quite a while now.
Oh, yeah, I have. I think
the names are still so relevant to you.
Yes. Brayden and I talk about changing places because they've done a few, and he's like, we've done this one and this one, and I've seen your video. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go have a look. Yes, it's funny. But, yeah, I've always liked the way, too, that when it doesn't fault a lot, but sometimes it faults and I can't fix it. And I've always liked the way that they come quickly, because people, it's the wrong way to be, but people get, what do we do without it? And I'm like, well, you got to learn to, what I call the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to do that, but I've always liked the way that they can come quickly to help you. The weeks can get kind of busy, and I'm always like, I'm falling behind on my to-do list and all the stuff. So I don't think you're falling behind. It's just that you keep adding more things to it. So it's quite funny. I self-manage my plan. So to me, that's not hard, but that's its own version of time-consuming as well. But the roster is even more time,
quite complex in making it work for you. And
yes,
of course. As you think about those tools and support systems that you do have in place that have helped you in your daily life, how has HLS Healthcare played a role in making things easier or more manageable for you? So obviously in your specific circumstance, that's around the Vendlet positioning system that you've got in place in your home.
Before I had the Vendlet, look, actually, it's a good thing to put in here. I didn't actually realise. I knew that over time. I knew there was a problem, and I went searching medically. And the Vendlet is one smooth motion, and it's sort of a bit of body positioning, but it's one smooth motion, and it's done. And if you need to repeat it, you can repeat it. It's fairly easy to teach people. Again, that comes back to the communication between you and the staff,
your team. Yeah.
But it's a very, very easy piece of equipment to work with. It was very, very well. I know that at the time we did a lot of advocacy to get it through quickly, because I was I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be stressing about going to bed that night because of how much carry-on there was around the actual going to bed process. It's just a lot more, whatever. But see, now when I first came into contact with HLS, I barely moved during the nights. My needs are different now.
Yes.
So I move constantly during the night. I have to for pain, and that changes. It can be more. Sometimes it can stay sort of the same. But with the Vendlet, that stuff, those moves during the night, it's so much easier, and you're not laying on something that makes you hot either, because it's got no ripples in it. It's got no scrumples, and it's something that breathes.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it gives yourself that level of comfort and independence in your care as well, that it's a lot easier for you to ask for those moments of help and know that your caregivers are there to really support you in a really easy way for both of you.
it is.
That's really nice to hear. It's really
Yeah.
great to hear that solution has been able to be provided to you as part of that process as well.
Absolutely, definitely.
Of your lovely team that you have, you know, your family, your friends, your caregivers, how do you find that they've supported you in your journey to today? Who would you be without the support and the family and care team that you have today?
You wouldn't. But forming those relationships is vital, but you wouldn't be anywhere. You know, I had parents that weren't parents that, made you stick in a box. They put you out there and you did the things like everyone else would. And that ambition stuck, and my team is the same, and they know the deal, and they're like, even when we haven't been around each other a bit, they'll always come back and they're like, so we're always like, so what's this other been up to, and where are we up to next, and what are we doing today? There's always a bit to catch up on. You don't function without each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's how the relationship works.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a beautiful team around you that supports you with your ambition and your goals, and
Yep.
I guess really allowing you to live that full life that everyone deserves to live, and find your passions and chase your passions, and that's really fantastic. I love to hear that side of the story as well.
It makes that insurmountable effort these days that you can't put into words. It makes it all seem so seamless when you actually talk about something like this or other ambitions, because it just kind of all melts away, and it's like, yep,
yes,
this is what I'm meant to do. This is why I'm here today.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
that's great to hear. Now, can we look forward, I guess, a little bit and say, what are your hopes and goals for the future, both for yourself and for others in a similar situation as yours? Where can we as an Australian country, as a community, do better, be more inclusive? What do you hope the future looks like?
that's a big question.
It is. I've really weighted that on you.
I've been saying a lot lately that inclusion is an illusion, because it's about how you practice it, and it can be very, very small things, as in just simply saying hello to someone and having a conversation and inviting them into the world the way that you would another person that didn't have a disability. And I think that in terms of equipment, like for example, the amount of people that still, not that it's an issue, but still don't know about things like we're discussing. They're like, wow, how did you get onto this? I'm like, well, I met people and I asked questions and things like that, but people don't know these things unless they're informed. It's about what we're doing here now, sharing information so that people are aware and they can look at what's the equipment and what strategies might help them throughout their life, which just helps people feel more at ease. People being accepted and expected to have the same goals as everyone else. And I know that's broad, but for example, in your NDIS plans, you have to write down goals, and I often think to myself, does anyone else get out of bed and go, which goal am I meeting today? Because that's not how the world works. It's just not.
Sometimes it feels like it's a tick box that you have to meet that isn't quite as common for everyone else to function.
It's not. Yeah, but that's exactly what it is. It is just about just functioning, because that's how you get your funding.
Yes. I think that's a beautiful thing that we should all work towards. Like you said, it can be as simple as just a hello and a conversation, and being genuine in your interactions with someone, and really seeing them as an equal, because you are no different to me in society. You are an equal part of our community, and you have possibly more weight. You have the potential to really change the world, I think, because you're pushing boundaries, you're really challenging norms, and I think that's so important. And your voice, in a HLS perspective, your voice is very heard, and I hope you feel that from us, Liz.
And people often ask me about it, and like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, I just do it because I do it, because it's what I do, and I'm hoping that, you know, it educates people, puts messages out there. I've learned you can't control the message people, what the message put out and what they take, but you can hope that people take something. And I hope that someone, maybe a young 16-year-old girl going through a similar life journey as yourself, the joys of high school,
might see your story and think, wow, I have so much to live for.
Yeah.
That's
it. There's always different things and road bumps in lots of people's lives, but there's a lot of good things as well. So you've got to kind of go along for the whole ride and go, okay, well, which part am I at today?
Yes. Well, speaking of that young 16-year-old girl potentially watching on, what would be one piece of wisdom or advice of someone going through similar challenges as yourself? What would be the wisdom or advice that you'd give them?
Just keep going.
Like Dory, just keep swimming from Finding Nemo. Just keep going. I love that.
Just keep going. Don't listen to no, because whenever people tell me no, I work hard now and turning into a yes, because I don't think no is any. No, you can't do something is an acceptable answer, and just you need to do what makes you happy, not what makes other people happy. When you figure out for yourself what that is, do what you want to do and what makes you happy, and go from there. Because people will follow eventually. if that's a barrier in itself.
No, I think that's fantastic. I love that. I think you're right. When you keep moving forward, you force others to play their hand, don't you?
You do.
They have to move with you.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I just want you, from my perspective, I hope you do feel valued as part of the HLS community. I hope you know your voice is genuinely heard.
I always feel important because you call and they come. I'm like, I'm not a priority. As I said, Tom comes, he goes, we can't have you without a bed now, can we?
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh, that's special. It's so nice.
We do like to think of all of our community participants as urgent priority, because if your equipment's not working, then your life does pause or stop.
Yes.
Liz, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with us today. You are well and truly valued in our community, and I do hope that your story inspires someone else to just keep moving forward. And thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me along today, and I really do hope that you enjoy this video, and I hope that people in Denmark get to see it as well.
We'll definitely share it with them. I'm sure they would love to hear about how fantastic this product is for you.
No worries. Bye.